This is the recipe of almond praline. Very easy to make at home. The only important thing is that you need a blender that are able to run for a longer time. So it's not your usual kitchen blender. You will need one that is dedicated to make a spread or powerful enough to run a longer time. So usually you can see the connection on the bottom. It's not made out of plastic. It would be steel. So just pay attention for this one, otherwise you can ruin your blender. But if you are 100% sure that your blender is capable of doing that, then follow the recipe. There are two ways how you can make it, and I'm going to show you one that is just easier. I have here my almonds, and I've toasted them in the oven for approximately 15 minutes and the temperature around 165-170 degrees when forced. You can change the almonds to any other nuts, and you can make praline out of that. Also, I prefer to have my praline less sweet. Usually praline is 50-50, so it's 50% nuts and 50% sugar. I prefer make it with a 30% of sugar. So I'm just going to cook the caramel, and I'm going to pour it on my silicone mat to cool it down, and I'm going to break it, put my caramel shards with the almonds in a food processor and blitz it until it's become paste. This is kind of color that we're looking for the caramel. And just leave it to cool down completely before you break it into pieces. I prefer to help the food processor with the mixing into the praline. So I would usually chop the nuts so they are in the smaller pieces. Add my salt flakes, and be careful with the breaking sugar, becoming very sharp. The praline is ready. It's nice and liquid and very smooth consistency. You can store it in a glass jar, you can store it in a food container, you can store it in a fridge or at room temperature. Shelf life for such product is quite long because there is very low water activity. It's basically just nuts and sugar, and these products will last as long as nuts and sugar last. So basically it's years. You can store this in a glass jar or in the food container at room temperature or in a fridge, up to you. Half a year in a glass jar would be fine. After that period of time, it starts to lose flavor. So it makes sense to make a batch that would last you no longer than half a year